Hello again, folks. This is Sullla speaking, and you're listening to Game 3 of a game taken from the World Cyber Games played just a little bit over a month ago between Team France and between Team Canada. Here, I had a number of comments in the last video for people who said they wanted to see some of the last couple picks in this game. So on the left side of the screen, on the blue side, is the picks for Team France, and then on the right side of the screen in purple are the picks from Team Canada, and they're right at the end of the picking phase. So the bands are down underneath the champion lineups. In this game, the French team actually started out by picking Sona, and then the next two picks were for the Canadian team, Caitlin and Blitzcrank. Then the French team picked Kassadin, Trundle, and then the Canadian team has followed with Maokai and Rumble. So how the last couple of picks coming in, and the biggest change in this game has been that Kassadin was not banned by either team. In the past two games, Kassadin has been banned, so he was available in this game, and it looks like the French team snapped him up right away with their second pick. So they're going to be running Kassadin, and here come the next two picks. They have picked up Morgana and Urgot here. So Titus has played Urgot in all three of these games. Actually, if you watch them, he's going to be picking up Urgot again, and the French team appears to be running double AP setup, Kassadin and Morgana, something that's much more popular in Europe than it is in North America. So now we just need the last pick from the Canadian team, and it looks like it's going to be Tryndamere there, running Tryndamere apparently as a counter to Kassadin here. So what it looks like the Canadian team was waiting for this after they saw Kassadin come out, and they're going to force Kassadin to lane against either Rumble or Tryndamere, which are both bad matchups for Kassadin. So we'll have to see what the French team decides to do in that regard there. So as far as the lineups here, we're going to have, well, we don't know who's going to be playing which champion yet, but it's going to be Sona, Kassadin, Trundle, Morgana, and Urgot on the French team against the Caitlin, Blitzcrank, Maokai, Rumble, and Tryndamere lineup for the Canadian team. Now, I had some other questions about this, so for anyone who's curious, while they're running out the timer here, this is the World Cyber Games, and in the World Cyber Games, they use a country versus country setup instead of just the normal team setups that other League of Legends competitions uses. So that's why some of the personnel in these games is set up the way it is. This is less of an issue for the French team because pretty much everyone on the French team is part of Millenium, which I believe is an all-French team. So it wasn't that big of an issue for them, but a bigger issue for the Canadian and American teams. If you notice, those people who follow the League of Legends competitive gaming scene, Canadian team is made up of people from Counterlogic Gaming and also Team Sullla Mid. So it's a mixture of those two teams, the two best-known North American teams. They have Big Fat GG, Elements, and Hotshot GG from Counterlogic Game. Well, I guess Elements is not part of CLG anymore, but he had been for a long time. So three people basically from CLG, and then the odd one in Chaos from Team Sullla Mid. And now everyone has done the switching, so you can see who's going to be playing which champion in this game as we start moving forward. So Soaz, Yellowstar, Kuja, Linak, and Titus for the French team. Big Fat GG, Elements, Odd One, Hotshot GG, and Chaos on the side of the Canadian team. And yes, Hotshot playing Tryndamere apparently in this game. A bit unorthodox. Usually Hotshot, we don't see him playing Tryndamere, but it looks like that's who he's going to have in this match. So timer ticking down. Last bit of the delay before we start this match, and there we go. Going to get a view of the French team there. That is the team playing for France on their side of the screen. And this is going to be, as I said, the third place game, the bronze game. There's the Canadian team. So this is the final game in a best of three. Series split 1-1 to this point. So we should be just about ready to get started. All right, and there we go. So there's the little graphic, and as the graphic displays there is the third place match. This will be for the bronze medal in this particular competition. As I said, this is the third game in a best-of-3 series. The two teams have split 1-1 thus far. Those games are up on this same channel if you want to check them out on this same channel. In the first game, the Canadian team ended up winning some key fights around Dragon and then a key Baron fight, and they were ultimately able to come out on top in that first match. In the second match, the French team was behind early on in the game, but really managed to swing things in their favor. They were actually able to steal not one, but two different Barons. Linak was able to steal two Barons in that match. Very long game, very entertaining game, a lot of nice plays on both sides, but the French team was able to pull even and then force this deciding game 3 in the series. So we'll be very interested to see what's going to happen in this game. Now, this is on the Fizz patch. For anyone who's curious, it's all the stuff that was in the Fizz patch. That means that we are on the Season 2 Runes and Masteries, as I've said in the previous video. So we do see people running things like Cleanse, cleanse and summoner heal, which you wouldn't have seen prior to the Season 2 summoners. However, this is the Season 1 jungle, so it is before the changes that made the jungle minions easier to kill and give less gold and less experience. So that's why you see the odd one at the wolf camp here. In the Season 2 jungle, Maokai usually starts at wraiths, but that's why he's over there at that camp. So these minions are a little bit harder to kill, but give more gold and more experience as a result, and they don't respawn nearly as quickly. So anyway, that's what's going on there. In terms of lineups, it looks like Big Fat GG's Rumble going to top lane. Looks like Soaz's Morgana is going to join him up there. Then the two junglers, Odd One playing as Maokai, Linak playing as Trundle. In mid, Hotshot GG is playing as Tryndamere, and he's up against Yellowstar playing as Kassadin. And that, I think, is going to be the interesting matchup. It's not a good lane for Kassadin. Kassadin really in trouble, regardless of which lane he goes to. I'm not sure why we're following Odd One just as he goes through his jungle route. Not that interesting. Again, no control over the camera here. This is a pre-recorded stream that I'm broadcasting off of. And then in bottom lane, the standard champions that you'd expect. Caitlyn and Blitzcrank going up against Urgot and Sona, so the 80 carries plus support. Up here, Linak looked like he was going for a gank in top lane. Instead, he went to check Wraiths, but they had already been done by the Odd One. Yellowstar really low. Wow, Yellowstar actually just flashed as the camera switched over to middle lane, and he is off to a bit of a rough start already. Hotshot's forcing him off of the minion line there, and again, this is the issue with Kassadin. He's very weak before he hits level 6. He really needs to get to level 6 so he can get his ultimate, he can start using his Rift Walk for that extra mobility. Really needs to be able to reach that point. Until he reaches that point, he's effectively a really weak melee laner, and Tryndamere should just be able to completely dominate him there as Hotshot eats a tower shot there. But Hotshot is going to have a huge advantage there. Tryndamere just so strong in lane, especially compared to Kassadin, who's weak early on. So looks like Yellowstar is getting a little bit of help in mid. Linak coming over, trying to help him out, and that's something that the French team's going to need to do, going to need to help out Kassadin at the early levels, try to keep him alive, and just help him out in farming, because he is going to be in a lot of trouble otherwise, because, as we said, Tryndamere just really strong in lane early on. Elsewhere on the map, not too much has gone on that far. Biggest difference appears to be in bottom lane. Chaox's Caitlyn is on 18 minion kills, and Titus's Urgot only on 5, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. We really haven't seen bottom lane too much on the camera work in this match, but Titus apparently missing out on a lot of early minions. That may be due to the fact that he started with a Doran's Blade, whereas Chaox's Caitlyn started with Boots 3 Pots, so perhaps just exchanged some harass early on, came out behind, and then with the Doran's Blade wasn't able to heal that up. Anyway, we do have a gank setting up here in top lane. Odd One is going after Soaz. There comes the sapling, going to get the twisted advance, but Soaz going to pop on his black shield. Should be okay. And right now, Linak is actually ganking bottom lane. They're not showing it, but Trundle is down there. It's a 3-on-2. Don't know quite what's going on down there in bottom lane. Hopefully they will show it in the camera work. And yes, Titus actually going to draw first blood down here. Now Chaox is going to suicide. He's going to try to kill Titus. Can he finish it off? No, not able to get the kill on Titus. So Titus actually going 2-0, scoring a double kill in bottom lane. And that's exactly what Team France needed here. Now Odd One coming in, ganking mid. He's going to use his flash, going after Yellowstar. Oh, a crit from Tryndamere. And Hotshot is going to score that kill. A very poor time for Yellowstar to die too, because he's going to miss out on a full minion wave here. So exchanging kills there. 2-1 in favor of the French team, coming out ahead in bottom lane. That double kill, just what the doctor ordered, going to help out Titus quite a bit. Remember, he was behind in minion kills, so that kill is going to help out Titus quite a bit. But in middle lane, it's going to put Yellowstar that much further behind Hotshot. And Soaz taking a lot of damage there. Wow, look at that damage. Rumble, as soon as he pops his flamethrower or whatever it is, just doing so much damage. But Soaz able to get out of there with a Dark Binding. And meanwhile, Hotshot doing exactly what he needs to do. There's no straight denying of minions in League of Legends, but you can deny minions by pushing your own wave up to the tower, and that's exactly what he did there, so that Yellowstar's Kassadin was going to miss out on a lot of that farm. So anyway, a lot of pretty good action there. We didn't really see much happening, but then at the 5-minute mark, 2 ganks, 1 in mid, 1 in bottom lane. Both junglers doing a nice job to help out their team. So kudos to both Linak and Odd One there. Got off some nice ganks. As far as the outcome of that particular side, game is pretty even. French team has a slight lead. It's pretty much just the first blood that's given them the edge in this game right now, ahead by about 400 gold. Meanwhile, Odd One setting up for a gank in top lane. Let's see if he's able to get anything out of this. Does still have that double buff. Soaz does not seem to know that he's there. It's not warded by the French team, and there he is coming out, twisted advance. Where is the black shield? But no, Soaz has no mana. He used it on that pool, and that is going to be a kill. Big Fat GG scoring the kill there. And again, Soaz apparently just ran himself out of mana, couldn't black shield. Don't know if he would have been able to make it out anyway, but going to go down there and going to even up this match at 2-2, give Canada a very slim lead in global gold once more, but effectively an even game. Although the Canadian team may be able to get a little push on the tower. Right there in mid, Hotshot going to spinning slash in, mocking shout. Is he going to get another crit? No, but Yellowstar just lost about half his health. And just being down one level, absolutely critical there, because Yellowstar is not level 6 yet. He does not have his Rift Walk, and that's going to make it very hard for him to farm. And in fact, he's actually going to go back to base right now. So he's going to go back to base and buy. And Hotshot is just going to be getting in some free farm here in middle lane while he's back at base. And so that is not a good sign for the French team. Probably the biggest difference in the game is there in mid. Hotshot's ahead 41-27. So we'll see what's going on there. But meanwhile, Linak has tossed down a pink ward at Dragon. This is a nice plan to go for this Dragon if he's not spotted. But Odd One's going to come down here. He's going to interrupt them doing the Dragon. Are they going to break off? Yes. Now Kuja in a little bit of trouble. Is he going to use his flash? Yes. Goes over the wall right there. Still, even though that didn't work out, I think it was a nice play by Linak. He did toss down the pink ward. There was no vision on the Canadian team there. So if Odd One had not come down and checked Dragon, he might well have been able to get that Dragon. He did have the Madrid's Razor. He did have Sinnoh there supporting him. Oh, here comes a flash in. Going after Yellowstar again. He's going to escape, but Yellowstar having to blow his flash once again in lane. And Hotshot is just forcing him off of this minion wave. Look how far back he is. Again, the camera work is not quite what I would be showing, but being forced back again in mid. Meanwhile, we shift focus to top lane. It looks like GG's a little bit behind. Oh, here we go. Another fight going on in mid. Yellowstar, again, just having to retreat. But look, he just can't farm. He wants to farm this minion wave, and Hotshot is just denying him so hard in mid, just zoning him there, completely stopping him. Meanwhile, it looks like both junglers are heading to bottom lane. Hopefully we will see the focus right there. I see 3 in bot on both teams. There's a pillar. It looks like Chaos was able to escape that. Now Odd One entering the fight as well. Is anyone going to get engaged upon? Doesn't look like it. Now another spinning slash in. There's the mocking shot. And Yellowstar again just being forced off the minion line. He still is not 6, so he's now 2 levels behind Hotshot. In terms of minion kills, it's 57-25. So wow. Yellowstar really, really needs to hit 6 right now. And there's another engagement in mid. Hotshot going in, and he will get the kill. Remember that flash was popped earlier for Yellowstar. Linak trying to come in to clean this up, but Hotshot did take cleanse on Tryndamere. He's running a cleanse flash, which is a little odd. I'm a little surprised he doesn't have cleanse ghost, which might be better. But he might have the flash because he's in mid instead of in top. Anyway, Soaz coming down from top to try to help out. He's going to be forced down here again to help out Cassidy. But Yellowstar off to an 0-2 start. And that is a lot of trouble because he is just falling further and further behind Hotshot in that middle lane. And while Soaz goes down to mid, that means that Big Fat GG's Rumble is just going to be free farming up there in top lane. GG was a little bit behind, but he's almost pulled even in minion kills now, and he does have the 1 kill. So again, we'll see. Maybe they will choose to just swap Soaz here into mid permanently. I don't know, but then Cassidy would have to be in top lane, and he's really not going to do that much better against Rumble. So Yellowstar still level 5. Oh my goodness, needs to hit 6 so badly, just needs to get experience, but he's going to be denied off this minion wave, and it's going to push again in the opposite direction. Look, it's going to push back towards Hotshot's tower, so he just cannot get in any farm right now. And that has to be extremely frustrating on his part. Meanwhile, Rumble is pushing on that top tower. He's been able to deny a fair number of minions to the French team just by pushing to that tower again. And the French team has started to fall behind a little bit in the global gold. They're now down a little over 1,000 gold. And again, that's pretty much just purely due to that middle lane. Looks like they are going to give Yellowstar this blue buff. He needs it very badly. I think he finally has hit 6. Yes, he did hit 6. It looks like he got a little experience in top lane. So fortunately for him, he is going to have blue buff. He is going to be 6. He'll be able to use his Rift Walk. But he is down 72-27 in minion kills, and that is just enormous. You just don't see that kind of a difference in laning at this level of play very often. Extremely rare. So he is just so far behind at this point, and Tryndamere, just a nightmare matchup for him. Meanwhile, in top lane, there is an engagement coming out. It looks like a lot of damage traded, but Soaz uses his Dark Binding, and it looks like that's going to enable him to get out of there. I did see Rumble ult going down. GG used his ult and Ignite and Flash, so he actually used everything. Now Hotshot coming up here to top lane as well, and I think he just tried to spinning slash through that terrain obstacle and didn't make it. So it looks like Team Canada might want to go for a dive up here in top lane. So as Linek backing off, but it looks like Hotshot is going to return back to mid, so they're going to choose to back off there. They may be conceding this tower in top. Again, I can't see quite what's going on there. They are engaging on Soaz. Is this going to be a kill up there in top? No, Soaz going to back off. And I don't think the Canadian team is going to get that tower in top lane. I don't think they have the minions right there, but they have gotten that tower pretty low thus far. And then again, Hotshot just sitting in lane, free farming up there. Notice he picked up 2 Doran's Blades. It's a very early game focused build to grab the 2 Dorans. Oh, here he is spinning slash in again. There's the mocking shout. And Yellowstar just going to have to riff walk away for his life over the wall. And once again, forced off the minion line, forced away from farming up there. And he is just having a really rough go of it in this game. He's managed to get up to 44 minion kills, but he's had to steal some of the jungler's farm to do that. He did take the Wraith Camp. And remember, this is the old jungle where the minions don't just respawn instantly. So taking away creeps from the jungler does hurt a bit. Has more of an effect. There goes Hotshot again. Now, fortunately for Yellowstar, he is level 6. He can riff walk away, but again, he just really can't farm these minions. He's down 90 to 45, been outfarmed 2 to 1. And wow, that middle lane just becoming more and more of an issue as this game goes on. There is a nice juke by Titus, dodges the hook from Elements, and it looks like Team Canada is going to set up for this dragon. There are no wards on the part of Team Canada, but they do have a CV coming out. CV on Kuja spotting this, but I just don't think that Team France is in position to counter this. There goes a ward from Elements, going to spot if Linek tries to flash in. There's a sapling from the odd one, and it looks like this will not be contested. So 1240, the first dragon going to the Canadian team, and that's going to pull them about 2,000 gold ahead in this matchup. So a nice time to pick it. If you notice, they picked the time to do dragon when Yellowstar was going back to base and when he had to go healing. And that's when they decided to come down. Big Fat GG's Rumble coming down from top lane as well to join in that. All right, elsewhere in the game, we haven't really talked that much about bottom lane. Bottom lane seems to be pretty even thus far. Titus does have the 2 kills, and that's helped him out a lot. That got him his tier, a very early tier, but other than that, the lane's pretty much been even. Here comes Linek going in for a gank on Big Fat GG, but I think he's going to be okay. There goes the Rumble ult down. It was back up. He has his Hex Tech Revolver, so he's going to spell vamp off of those creeps with his ult, and it looks like he wasn't in any real danger there. It was a good time to try for a gank. His flash was down, but it looks like he's okay. Oh, there goes Hotshot in again after Yellowstar, and it's a good thing he's now 6, so we can at least riff walk out of there, but again, he's just having so much trouble farming in this game. Cassidy's one of those snowball champs. Anyway, there he is, odd one, trying to help out. Yellowstar going to riff walk away again. Cassidy, one of those snowball-y type champs. If he gets going, he's just an absolute terror, but he is very weak in lane early on, and that Tryndamere pick really seems to be just completely shutting him down in this game. Hotshot now has gone back, now has a Brutalizer, and also Berserker Screeves. So again, he's going for a pretty early game build. He's not going for, say, Infinity Edge, where he'd be weak until he got his Infinity Edge. He's just going for that early game, cooldown reduction, burst damage, armor pen, and it seems to be working thus far in terms of this build, because Yellowstar is really having a hard go. Yellowstar has actually even picked up a cloth armor in middle lane. Imagine that, Cassidy picking up cloth armor. And honestly, I think it was a good idea to get that. That extra armor will help him out in this laning phase. But bottom lane, pretty much even. Titus got the 2 kills. Chaos is a little bit ahead in farm. Chaos getting the triple Doran's Blades, which you don't see very often. There goes mid turret. So Hotshot with that pushing has managed to get that tower. Top lane pretty even as well. Soaz very slightly ahead in farm. Big Fat GG has the 1 kill from when Odd One came and ganked that lane, but overall really even in that lane. It's really just been that middle lane that's been the difference in the game. Now Linek trying to come and help out Yellowstar, who's been being forced to back once again, and he's been back to base an awful lot of times. Linek coming to try and help out, but that tower has gone down. Here goes Hotshot. Now Odd One's here as well. Linek going to use his pillar on the Odd One. Nicely done, and I think he's going to escape. Yes, able to get out. Really nice job. Notice that he uses the pillar on the Odd One's Maokai. He doesn't use it on Tryndamere. Maokai is the one he needed to use the crowd control on, needed to prevent Maokai from getting in range to use his Twisted Advance. So that was a really nice play by Linek there, recognizing which person he had to use his crowd control on and using the pillar on the correct target there. Now in mid, it's almost like a 2v2 right now. Both junglers have joined mid, and Team Canada just seems to be pushing on that middle lane, just really putting a lot of pressure on it. Again, not that much going on in the other 2 lanes, although there's been some push in them as well, but just keeping that consistent pressure on right there. And again, we can't see the fight because the camera's in bottom lane. There we go. So a lot of damage coming out on both sides. Linek getting pretty low. I don't think he'll be finished off, but it just feels as though the Canadian team is coming out ahead in these engagements. Again, Tryndamere has that infinite sustain on his Q. He burns his rage and heals himself up. He does have a fair amount of life. No, not that much. He only has the 2 Dorans for lifesteal. And look at Hotshot. He just doesn't care. Yellowstar tries to harass. He just sits there under the tower, beating on that tower. He's got it down to almost half health right now. Going to spin away, but you know, he's Tryndamere. He doesn't care, and he should be fine. Now he's just going to go in for another push once again. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, there's just sort of a random ult. I don't know what that was for. Looks like both junglers are heading to bot. I see Linak heading there, and Odd One's down there as well. So we may have a fight down here. We'll just have to see what happens, see if the French team decides to come out and you know, pick a fight here. But there are 3 champs on both sides in bot, so I'd assume that's where the action's going to be. Right now, a 4K gold lead for the Canadian team. They've just basically been out farming the French team thus far, mostly in that mid lane. They do have a 1 kill edge, but that's not really that significant. Linak is hanging out back there. It looks like he's ready to jump in if there's a fight. Odd One has now left and is heading for middle lane, so that may spell trouble for Yellowstar. Again, we'll have to see. You see, Odd One is coming in there. There is the jump in from Hotshot. Yellowstar going to riff walk away, but that tower is going to go down. And how often do you see the first 2 towers of the game that fall are both in middle lane on one side? So that pillar is going to block Odd One from getting any further damage onto the base. Going to retreat out of there. Hotshot going to use his spinning slash, and they're just going to back out of there. Meanwhile, another tower going down in bottom lane. That's because Titus has reacted. Again, this is due to the pressure in mid. Titus reacted by heading towards middle lane. He headed back to defend the base, and that allows Chaos to push over that tower. So again, what events in one lane influencing another lane, that's why the French team lost bottom turret there. They had to go back to try to defend their base against this push, and that's what cost them the bottom turret right there. So again, like I said, the movement of one lane affecting another lane. Hotshot getting Yellowstar very, very low here. Now he's going to get engaged upon. Here comes Odd One. Here comes Elements. So we're going to have a straight 3v3. Elements grabbing Yellowstar, going to finish off that kill. A very nice grab by Blitzcrank there. And Cassidy, often one of the hardest champs to grab with this Rift Walk, just has so much mobility, but looks like his Rift Walk was on cooldown there, and Elements hitting on the hook, doing a nice job. Chaos still pushing in bot, so he's going to get some damage on that bottom tower. Odd One, though, going to get swapped by Titus. A nice play by Titus playing his Urgot, and Odd One not going to make it out of here. Rest of the Canadian team going to wave bye-bye as he just crumples before the full French team. But while that's going on, rest of the Canadian team going to steal the blue buff, going to take it, going to put it on Big Fat GG. And Chaos has been pushing in bottom lane the whole time as well. I assume he got some damage on that tower. Now, can he escape down there in bot? Is he going to be able to make it out? Yes, Soa's not going to be able to catch him. So just more good things going on elsewhere on the map for the Canadian team. They seem to be in very good shape for this game, and they're up about 6,000 gold. Wow, that is a lot for this early in the game. Meanwhile, Dragon has respawned. If you notice, everyone on the Canadian team backing right now, they're going to be buying for a Dragon fight right now. Actually, the French team has just CV'd Dragon. They want to know if it's still up. It is up, so I'm assuming we're going to have a Dragon fight here as the next big thing that's going on in this match. In terms of items, Soaz has finished Rod of Ages on Morgana. Poor Yellowstar, so underfarmed, hasn't really finished anything thus far. He has a tier and a catalyst, and that's basically it. And he just has to run away every time Hotshot shows up. There is a Wriggles on Linak, and Titus has finished both Frozen Heart and Manamune. I had a good comment on this in the previous video. He goes for Frozen Heart to try and synergize with his Manamune. And of course, cooldown reduction also pretty good on Urgot. But nonetheless, Canadian team, looks like they're going to be taking this Dragon right here. French team not really in position to get it. Let's see if they're going to claim it. Again, Tamarwork is not the greatest. Hotshot going in on Yellowstar. There's his cleanse. Is he going to be able to finish it off? Spinning slash, yes. And now can Hotshot get out of here? Let's see if he's going to be able to make it out. There he is, popping his ult. He does have Undying Rage going on. Meanwhile, Elements coming in, trying to support, but he's going to get caught behind the rest of the team, and he is going to get binded right there. Not going to make it out, and Titus going to score the kill. So Titus now has 3 of the 4 kills for the French team, and I guess he's going to have to be in position to carry this game because he feels like the strongest member of their team at this point in time. Meanwhile, Big Fat GG playing his Rumble takes top tower. French team going to continue pushing mid. They should get this tower with no real issues. Let's see if they can get a second one. I don't think they'll be able to get another one after this. Meanwhile, Chaos pushing in bottom lane. He is going to get, he might get some more damage on this tower. Let's see if he chooses. Nope, just going to go back, just going to deny a minion wave by pushing to the tower. Chaos has BF Sword, Pickaxe. He is probably going to get his Infinity Edge on this trip back. There it is right there. Meanwhile, Hotshot has now finished a Ghost Blade and has Zeal. 301 on the game, has 3 of the 5 kills for the Canadian team. Just going to be so strong right now with his build. He just attacked a ton of attack speed, a ton of critical strike chance. Going to be really strong. And of course, he still has, well, he used both his cleanse and flash and his ult in that last fight. So he's going to be a little bit careful until those come back up. But just so strong. Meanwhile, Big Fat GG has finished Will of the Ancients, and it looks like he's going for Rylai's as his next item. And he is going to be responsible for doing most of the magic damage on the Canadian team. They don't really have too much else magic damage on their team. Right now, 7k lead in gold, and that is a huge margin of gold differential for this early in the game. They're still only at the 21st minute in this game. So the Canadian team really in the driver's seat. They've taken both dragons. They've taken 4 towers to 1, and their champions are ahead in farm, ahead in their build as well. Still, we've seen in each game so far that when one side got ahead, that didn't necessarily mean that the game was over. We've actually seen some pretty nice comebacks in both of the first 2 games. The team that got ahead early did not end up winning the game in the end. So who knows? It doesn't look good for the French team right now because Yellow Star is 0-4 and he's just not going to be that useful unless he can start picking up some kills. But like we said, game is far from over, and it's a little bit more over now as the Canadian team takes down another tower, their 5th tower of the match. And in fact, Team France only has 1 tower left outside their base, just that tower in top lane. So really, they're in some trouble. And here we see the global gold. Tryndamere at 7,900. And Cassidy only at just over 4,000. So in that middle lane is really the difference in the game. Almost 4,000 gold ahead. Anyway, Chaox getting a little bit caught here. Linak throwing down that pillar, but Chaox actually blocking the path with a trap there. Great placement on the Caitlyn trap, and that prevented Linak from chasing up on that any further right there. So, but still, the Canadian team just running rampant through the jungle of the French team. All those towers down just opens up so much jungle control for them. They're just invading, stealing Wraith, stealing red buff. They've already taken that blue. Blue control, really crucial. The French team has 2 APs. They have both Cassidy and Morgana. If the Canadian team can deny those blue buffs, it's really going to hurt the French team. Now, Linak getting caught out here a bit. Oddone going to burn his flash to engage there on Linak. Chaox doing a lot of damage. Does have that Infinity Edge, but Linak looks like he's going to make it out. So a bit of a waste on the flash there from Oddone to go in there. Meanwhile, Soaz now getting caught out. He's going to burn his flash as well. Hotshot chasing. A nice dark binding, though, from Soaz, going to protect him, going to allow him to get out of there. But this may cost them that tower in top lane. We'll have to see. Team Canada not really grouping up. They're just sort of pushing every lane at once. Chaox going to get swapped here, though. He is in some trouble right here. A nice Sona ult from Kuja. Now Element's getting into the fight as well, and it is a 3-on-2 in favor of the Canadian team right there. Chaox going to escape. Now Kuja is going to fall. Titus, there's an exhaust going out on him, and here comes Tryndamere. Uh-oh, that cannot be good. Critical strike, knock up from Elements. Titus will fall as well. Now Soaz popping his ultimate. Can he manage to snare anyone here? Looks like he's caught the Oddone, and Oddone should fall right here. He's very low. Yellow Star going to pick off that kill right there. Now Hotshot going to get binded in a little bit of trouble as well. Yellow Star finally starting to do some damage. Hotshot's popped his ult, but he's used it a little bit prematurely there. Not the best timing. Meanwhile, an unrelated fight. Linak dying to GG up in top lane. Can't see that. Element's going to hook Yellow Star, but it looks like he's just going to do that to let Hotshot escape. Elements, I mean, it's a good play normally to have the support die to save the carry. Elements did lose an Oracle there. And meanwhile, like we said, unrelated fight in top lane. GG killing Linak and getting in more push on this tower. I don't think he can quite finish this off, maybe on the next minion wave, so we'll see. But if that tower goes down, then that's really going to that's going to be the last tower outside their base of the French team. So let's see, is GG going to get that? Yes, taking down the tower. So that's now 6 towers down on the French team, and they've just really lost control over the jungle, over their own jungle. So we'll see where things go from here, but they're down 10,000 gold right now, a full 10k, 38,000 to 28,000, and that's just a large margin to make up. So we'll see. Canadian team is going to need to make major mistakes in order for them to lose the game at this point, but we'll see. Tryndamere 302, and GG's Rumble getting kind of sneaky strong too at 200, has finished his Rylai's in addition to Will the Ancients. Anyway, Hotshot going in, engaging on Linak. He does have Elements nearby, but that's about it. He's pretty isolated, to be honest. Yellow Star going to come into the fight as well, and Hotshot now taking a lot of damage here. He does not have his ult. He used it in that last fight, and down he goes. A very needless death on the part of Hotshot there. Again, he's played so well throughout this game. He's just played brilliantly, but that fight was not a good one to pick. I really not sure why he tried to go in. I guess he didn't realize that Cassidy was right there. And Team France trying to set up for Baron. If they can sneak this Baron, they can get back into this match. So we'll see. Chaox's Caitlyn is nowhere close by. GG going to come in, going to toss down his Rumble Ult. It doesn't really hit anyone, but it does a fair amount of damage. They are getting people on the French team pretty low. Linak is getting quite low. A nice Sona ult from Kuja. Very nicely done right there. But GG is going to fall right here, and now Element's getting low as well, and that's going to be straight 2 kills. Oh, Chaox not able to finish anyone off, so Linak and Kuja very low. But they just, Team France just scored 2 kills there. I don't know if they can do the Baron, not as long as Caitlyn is alive. Caitlyn too strong, but they did score 3 kills there, and that has helped them out quite a bit to get back into this match just a little bit. They're still down a ton of gold, but 8,000 is not as bad as being down 10,000 right there. And again, that whole sequence set up by Hotshot just getting a little too aggressive with Tryndamere there when his ult was not up. And I don't know if his flash or his cleanse were up either. Yeah, I think he may have used them in that last big fight in bottom lane. Still, nevertheless, Canadian team is ahead by quite a bit. That Baron was not taken. Really, the French team probably needs to sneak a Baron at some point to get back in this. I think it's going to be too difficult for them to hold their base if they can't sneak a Baron at some point, or just catch the Canadian team out at some point and just take Baron. Dragon is back up. We'll see if there's a fight over Dragon next. That would seem to be the next big target. Right here, Linak going to use a nice pillar on Chaox. Chaox does have a tower right here, so he probably should be able to make it back to the safety of his tower. Yellowstar getting close, though. Yellowstar going to flash in, or Rift Walk in, and yes, that is going to be a kill. So another kill coming in on the part of the French team. Now Hotshot coming in to try to save the situation, but he's outnumbered here. 3 members of the Canadian team showing up. Titus is here, and now Kuja's here as well. He does have Undying or Endless Rage going. It looks like he's going to make it out of there, and now being counter-ganked. A pretty good ult from Rumble going down there. Going to save that tower. And fortunately for Hotshot, he is playing his Tryndamere. Anyway, Linak taking a lot of damage, but Odd One should be able to disengage there. So we had another pretty inconclusive fight. It would be good for Team France if Yellowstar could steal this. Another kill, not watching it. Again, the camera work, not the best at all points in time here. Now Soaz is going to pick off Elements right there. Linak, can he make it out of here? Going to be slowed, and here comes the Odd One. Not going to make it out of here, so it's only a question of who gets the kill. Going to be GG's Rumble right there. Remember, GG does have a Rylai's, so he's going to slow with both his Flame Spitter and his little spears. Don't know the exact name of that skill. So a bit of an inconclusive fight. I think that Team France came out a little bit ahead there. They were able to score more total kills, but they weren't able to get any towers out of it. And it looks like Odd One is going to take this dragon. So a bit of an inconclusive skirmish. I think the French team may have come out slightly ahead just because they were so far behind. When they end killing streaks and they get kills, it helps them because they're further behind. They get more experience for killing people that are higher champion levels than them. But the goal differential is back up to 10k now, so this is still a very problematic position for them. Still, some good news. Yellowstar has picked up 2 kills. He is finally starting to get some AP. He does have Rod of Ages. Soaz is also pretty strong. Rod of Ages Death Cap. Going to make him a pretty strong champ. But again, another issue, I know that Titus likes running this Urgot setup. He's played Urgot in every game. And I mean, his stat line is not bad. 4-2-3 is very respectable. But it's just, if you look at his build, he's got Manamune, Frozen Heart, and a random BF sword to go along with cooldown boots. If you compare that to Chaox's Caitlyn, Chaox is 0-2. He's his KDA does not look great, but he's got an Infinity Edge. He has a Zeal. He has a pickaxe going towards Last Whisper. His Caitlyn is just so much stronger than Titus's Urgot, even though Titus's stat line looks better. And that's just a reflection of how Urgot really does not scale well into the mid and late game in League of Legends, and one of the reasons why he just doesn't get played that much. So anyway, keep an eye on that. Looks like Chaox is going for Last Whisper. Hotshot has now finished a freaking Phantom Dancer, so his Tryndamere is going to be just so strong. And we've already mentioned that GG's Rumble is also quite strong as well. So really, the Canadian team running 3 real damage champs and then 2 support champs right now. Maokai support jungler, and then, of course, Elements playing support. So really, 3 main damage dealers and then 2 supports. Oh, it looks like we might have an engage here. Hotshot getting caught again here. Engagement going to come in. There's a pillar, but Hotshot's going to spin out of there. Kuja taking a ton of damage. That Rumble ult is beautifully placed by Big Fat GG. Now Soaz is melting before the damage. Linak is caught. He's going to flash over the wall. He and Yellowstar are going to get out of there, but Kuja has also fallen. And that was just an absolute disaster for Team France. They got an initial good engagement on there. They got the binding on Hotshot GG, but Hotshot, again, able to survive, able to spin out of there. And right now, all the main damage dealers are pretty much gone for Team France, except Yellowstar. But Yellowstar's going to get engaged upon here. There he goes, right into the middle of the team. And he is just exploding like a firework on the 4th of July, getting engaged upon by the entire Canadian team. And there's just nothing he can do in that situation. I feel like he just should have been further back right there, but just a little bit too close to that inhib, which he couldn't have saved anyway. He probably should have just gone back to the fountain in that situation. There was no way he was going to save that inhib, but engaged upon, Odd1 getting the engagement with his twisted advance, and now everybody backing for Team Canada. They want to get back, they want to buy, they want to make sure that France can't just heal up and immediately rush Baron. That's the danger there, so they're going to go back to base, they're going to buy, and they're going to make sure that they're in a position to defend this Baron. So wow, more items coming out, a 14,000 gold differential on the part of Canada. They are just so far ahead at this point in time. GG's Rumble has now picked up an Abyssal Scepter as well. Odd1's Maokai has a Randuin's Omen, and that is a pretty good item. I guess it's only going to affect Linux and Titus, but still, just make them that much stronger in these team fights. Hotshot actually has an Aegis, which is kind of interesting that he's picked it up. I guess it's because Odd1 didn't pick it up on Maokai that he got it. And then Chaos now has Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, Zeal, and it looks like he's probably building towards a Quicksilver Sash. Anyway, another engagement coming out. That pillar is a little bit misplaced, and even though Soaz's Morgana ult is pretty good here, Hotshot going to cleanse the ult right there. He's going to pop his Endless Rage or whatever it's called. Meanwhile, more engagement going down on Linak. Hotshot's going to survive. That Rumble ult from GG just deals so much damage. Can Titus manage to escape out of here? Can he survive this damage? He's being slowed. Remember, GG does have Rhyalize. He's slowing. There's the knockup from Elements. He's going to fall as well. Kuja, the only one still alive, and Sona just not going to be enough to save this match, and that's it. They're not even going to finish off the base. They're just going to end it right there. So Team Canada is your winners in this match, taking 3rd place, taking the bronze medal in this competition. So wow, hope you guys enjoyed these matches. I did these matches because the quality of the 3rd place match was much better than the 1st place match. CDE from the US did win this overall, but the quality was really bad on stream, and frankly, the games weren't really that close. The American team beat the Polish team. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you soon.